What is up, everybody? Welcome to 49ers First Takes. You didn't think I was going to let you guys get away with this, huh? Not after last night's performance, but I'm not going to do it alone. See, I got this guy, I think you know him. His name's Jay in the Bay. He's like one of my best YouTube 49er slash friend, whatever you want to call him. And he's here to talk 49ers with me. So without further ado, let me just set this up here. I'm going to bring in Jay in the Bay and welcome him to the stream.
Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And it's a pleasure to be on with you tonight, 49ers First Takes. We obviously have a lot to get into, but first, shout out to you. You recently reached 2,000 subscribers, so congratulations to you, man. Hopefully I'll get there one day. But keep continuing to put out that good content, and of course, keep being you and being honest. That's what we love.
I appreciate that, my man, and same to you. Hope your channel continues to grow. I'm glad you do things your own way, man. That's the best way to do things, is your own way. Everybody has their own style. Everybody's got a different way to, come across to the people that watch, and and not everybody's cup of tea. So that's why there's so many of us. And I think the Niners YouTube in general is a very vast platform. There's a lot of us with lots of different styles. So thank you very much. And I'm glad you're on here. And yeah, we do got a lot to talk about. So I figure I'm just going to get right into it. Peo time. Before I say anything, Peo time's jumping in here to say what's up. And I appreciate it. He says that to the coolest 49er YouTube on the StreamYard. Hope you both are well. Appreciate it. We would be better if the Niners were winning, but like I said, we're going to get into all that. So I figure we just get right into the situation here. And the 49ers fall to 2-4 last night after a bye week where we thought we were going to get this new refreshed team who was ready to go and make a run for it. And instead the Niners fall to 2-4 in a pretty sloppy, the conditions were sloppy, but a pretty sloppy performance. The Colts were playing in the weather too, and somehow they found a way. But the Niners found a way to shoot themselves in the foot, commit turnovers, commit penalties, and I just wanted to get your observation and your feelings on how you feel right now as the Niners are in this hole and looking like they might have a long season.
Absolutely. First, I got to say, what's good to Pay on Time. Thanks for tuning into the stream. What's good to Luke Luna, man. Thanks for tuning in. It was a piss poor performance, man. It was a disaster. It was my worst nightmare. I didn't anticipate the 49ers being on a 4-game losing streak. And who would have thought? The Niners have yet to win a home game. It's terrible. I don't really see many positives from what's going on right now. You mentioned that we just had a bye week. Now, after a bye week, the coaching staff has 2 weeks to prepare. The players should be refreshed. They've taken some time off from the game. They should be good to go. And it was like deja vu all over again. For the 4th straight game, we actually scored on our first drive, which was great. And would you believe it? The 49ers actually got a turnover on defense. Like Josh Norman punched the ball out. That was a heady play by Norman. But after that, it's the same story. The offense becomes stagnant. We continue to turn the ball over on offense. Unfortunately, when your quarterback has 3 turnovers, he accounts by himself for 3 turnovers. You're not going to win many games. Nope. Jimmy G's not entirely to blame, but hey, he touches the ball on every snap on offense. He's got to share some of the blame. The penalties are just ridiculous. Here's the blueprint to how to beat the Niners. Throw the ball in the air deep. That's all they got to do. I think we have 14 defensive pass interference penalties so far, and we had I think 5 in yesterday's game. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Um, and outside the turnovers, the penalties, I think the defense, other than that, played okay. I think they played well enough, at least in the first half. But what upsets me to watch is the defense play good enough to at least keep the Niners in the game, right? But then the Niners offense, they don't keep their end of the agreement. They're not able to move the ball down the field. Jimmy G had an errant throw to, I think it was Ross Dwelly on an out route. But like you mentioned, the conditions were terrible. It was raining very, very, very heavily. And for those that aren't in Northern California, we don't get a lot of rain. And yesterday wasn't just rain; it was a storm. In certain areas of the Bay Area, there were flooding, so it definitely was not ideal conditions. But wouldn't you know it, the Indianapolis Colts, they're a dome team. They're not used to playing outside, and look how they were able to, adapt to the conditions. And at the end of the day, they made more plays to win the game. And Carson Wentz, he wanted to give the game away at the beginning in the first half, but Emmanuel Mosley couldn't pick it off. It's unfortunate that the conditions were that they were the rainy conditions, but we can't use that as an excuse because it's been the same thing the last 4 games, as I mentioned before: turnovers, penalties, and ineffective offense. And of course, we got to blame the head man in charge, Kyle Shanahan.
Definitely. Kyle takes a ton of blame for this, and John Lynch too. This is the team they've constructed over the last 5 years. This is the 5th year in a supposed rebuild. You can't even call it a rebuild anymore. This is their team. This is the team they constructed. This is pathetic. 5 years in, and this is what you have to show for all the work you've put in. And I'm at the point now where I'm just sick of excuses. I don't know if you caught the press conference, but they asked Jimmy about his calf, and he made it sound as if the calf was still bothering him, like as an excuse to why there's always an out with him. There's always something that Niner fans want to cling to, who want to believe that this guy is the guy. And there's always, it never can just be, I played bad, it's on me, I got to do better, I'm the quarterback, I'm the leader. No, there's always something. And with this team, it's been always something. It's the injuries, it's this, it's that. After a while, you just have to take a hard look in the mirror and say, look, the current construction of this team right now, the way it is constructed is not good enough. Everybody talks about 2019. That was a special year. It's over. That team isn't this team anymore. One of our best players is on the other side. Somehow, some way he wanted to be here, and the Niners couldn't figure out a way to make it happen. So, and like I said, it ain't all Jimmy's fault. It's the front office's fault. It's the coach's fault. How do you not get your defensive backs prepared for that kind of crap the whole game? Do they know how to cover? Do they know how to turn their head? I mean, it's dude, there's so much to rip on this team. And people, I wanted to come on here and be semi-positive. There's nothing to be positive about, man. They've lost 4 straight games.
Yeah.
We're going to call it like we see it today. Jay, you're in rare form. You're usually pretty positive. You came out with a negative right away. So that's how I know that where this is going. And a lot of people, they're going to say I'm a Jimmy hater. Dude, it's 5. Dude, come on. Like, enough's enough. 3 turnovers. He's the quarterback. He touches the ball. Like Jay said, 3 turnovers. If that's what you're going to get from him on a game-to-game basis, give Trey the ball once he's healthy.
Yeah.
Kyle ain't going to do that. He's probably going to play Jimmy next week against the Bears. If they lose to the Bears next week and Trey's healthy the following week, like Jay said, you got to start playing some of these younger players, man. This is ridiculous. Like, the current construction of this team is just not good enough. They're not good enough. They need to address their corner in the offseason. They need to address offensive line in the offseason. They need to rid themselves of that Jimmy contract. I'm sorry. They need to rid themselves of that Robbie Gould contract. Get him out of here. Because that dude last night looked pretty nasty considering.
Yeah.
So
he looked good. And it seems like
that man has a leg.
He does have a leg, and it seems like there's always a kicker available. They're always available. And yeah, Robbie Gold, I think he's worn out his welcome. That contract will be off the books next year. I can only imagine. And as I mentioned before, it's time to. I'm not giving up on the season. I'm still faithful, of course, but you can't lie to yourself and say that this team is still a Super Bowl contender or we have a Super Bowl roster. I don't think that is reality at this point. We haven't even won a home game yet. Let's try to do that first. And I'm telling you, Chicago is not going to be an easy game. It's an early kick. We have to fly down to Chicago. Chicago has a pretty good front four. Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks. They're definitely going to cause havoc. And that's where we struggle most up front, offensive line. So that's going to be an ugly game. It should be a low-scoring game. And if we lose that game, I don't see the downside to starting Trey. Hell, let's put Aaron Banks out there.
Right.
Ambry Thomas, get out there, get your lumps.
Yep.
Demo Lenore, he hasn't even played. I guess we would rather have Josh Norman. And Josh Norman, yeah, he made some heady plays. He had the forced fumble, but he is a liability in coverage. There's no doubt about that. And let's be real, Josh Norman, he's not going to be on the team next year. So,
no, neither is Drake Kirkpatrick. And I don't know what the hell he was doing out there.
I think he came in because
somebody got hurt.
Someone got hurt. Yeah. I know Tart got hurt last night. Yeah, it was Mosley. Mosley got hurt. Yeah.
I have a stat here. I'm going to read it to you. It says Jimmy Garoppolo's last 14 games, including 2019 playoffs, record is 7-7. Touchdowns 16, turnovers 15, yards at attempts 7.73. I guess he's 65% completions, or I don't know what that stat, but it pretty much you're comparing him to Rex Grossman at this point. And how can you argue that they keep putting up that stupid stat? He's won this many games, and it's like
10 or something like that.
Yeah, but what has he done in the last what have you done for me lately? A lot of that was predicated on the 2019 season where we won what? How many games did we win that year? 13?
13? Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then he has the games from, when he played in 2018 and 2017. But I'm just getting tired of that narrative of he just wins and he just this and he just that. Listen, it's not good enough anymore.
Right.
The season isn't over yet, but they're literally on the brink. They're teetering on the precipice of falling over the cliff. And I'll tell you what, man, I watch games now, and I watch them pretty much just because I have a YouTube channel and I have things I want to say. I'm not having a good time right now. I'll be honest with you. I watch games. I'm not having a fun time. I'm actually miserable because it's one of those things. Like you said, we start fast, we come out, we score, and then somehow, some way, we find a way to just go back into our same repetitive, predictable offense, mistakes on defense, penalties on defense. And it gets to a point where you watch the game where it's funny. It's almost funny to watch. It's comical. It's like what do they call it? A comedy of errors or comedy of errors? I don't know. So I figure if we get to the point, like I said, is it time to start Trey? Is Jimmy done? Is Jimmy using his injury as an excuse? What's your take? Do you think it's Trey's time, or are we getting close to that point? Or, because you said it, but I just wanted you to reiterate how you really feel about that.
I think at this point, with 4 straight losses, I just don't see the upside of Jimmy G continuing to start. He, in theory, Kyle Shanahan says that he gives the team the best chance to win, and that could be true. But if Trey Lance is healthy, I think at this point in the season, I'm not as confident as I was in the 49ers at the beginning of the year. Obviously we started 2-0, and they weren't, perfect wins. They weren't perfect victories or whatever, but, we're still 2-0, and I was fine with Jimmy G still being the starter. But with 4 straight losses, and let's be real, Jimmy, he's not playing as well as he was in 2019, and that's something that is hard to accept. Very hard to accept because I wanted Jimmy G to start from the beginning, and I was thinking, okay, he's going to play similar to 2019. We're relatively healthy at the beginning of the year, but we don't have Raheem Mostert. And I love Elijah Mitchell. He is one positive from the game. Also,
Yes, he is.
Also Debo, but
Yes,
he's
he
not
is.
Raheem Mostert. He's not
No.
Raheem Mostert. It's not the same running game. It's not the same offensive line. And Jimmy G, you said it. Jimmy G, he's not good enough anymore. He's not good enough anymore to lead this team to victories. And, it shows. And there's a lot of problems with this team. It starts off with Shanahan. But I think that's we know Trey Lance is the future of this team. Why not give him some snaps now when he's healthy? And I think that would make most sense for the team and for Trey Lance going forward. And if he gets the snaps now, he'll be even more prepared for next year.
Definitely. And this team, the way it's constructed this year, there's gonna be a lot of different players on this team next year. It's gonna be a small mini rebuild, if you want to call it, because, like you said, Josh Norman ain't gonna be here. A lot. I don't think Jason Verrett's coming back.
No.
Jimmy. If they bring Jimmy back, they're looking to get fired. No offense to him, but it's just at this point, I mean, you got to move forward. Yeah. You traded 2 first-rounders and swapped a first-rounder for a guy, so let's see what the kid has. Right. He's definitely athletic. He's definitely talented. He's just raw, and what he lacks is experience. How do you get experience? By playing. It's not rocket science. All these quarterbacks that are struggling right now, some of them might be a bust. I don't know, but some of them might not be. Maybe they're just going to take time, and maybe it's just going to take a lot of repetitive mistakes and a lot of learning, and then they come out next year and they're totally different quarterbacks. But like I said, Trey hasn't even gotten that. He's had one game. They used him like a running back. He got hurt. That's on them. That's on Kyle. Kyle's got to be smarter than that, man. I mean, really? 16 rushes? I know some of them are designed, some of them weren't, but I mean, he's 6'4", 225, 230 plus, but dude, like, he's not a battering ram, so I got to ask you this question straight up.
Sure.
And like, I didn't I didn't talk to you beforehand and let you know what my topics were, because a lot of my topics are stuff that we're both feeling. So I know I didn't really have to ask you about it. Do you think Kyle Shanahan's lost his team?
Wow. That's a great question. By the way they're playing, one would have to consider that, right? I mean, I don't see how they play this way, after a bye week. But Shanahan, he is the head coach, but he's not really in charge of the defense. The defense had a lot of issues, last night with penalties. That goes down to your team being prepared, your team being coached up. And right now we're just not buttoned up. But if he lost the team, he'd have to be gone. And I don't think he's lost the team just yet. I think they're still playing hard. I still think they're playing with effort, but right now we're just beating ourselves with the turnovers and penalties, and it just has to change. It has to change. Hopefully, we can get the ship righted this week against Chicago. But no, I don't think he's lost the team. Not yet.
I don't think he has either. But I mean, this season.
I think he's on the hot seat. I think he's on the hot seat. I don't know what the owner thinks, because Shanahan still has 3 years left on his contract. His contract isn't up until 2025. And I don't think the owner wants to just put his money in the fireplace and set it on fire. That's what he would be doing if he, fired, Shanahan at the end of this year. He would still have to pay him that money. But, I think he's on the hot seat for sure. Because as you mentioned, this is year 5. And 4 out of 5 seasons we missed the playoffs. So, his seat is definitely warming up, but I think we have to give him a chance to work with Trey Lance. This is who we traded up for in the draft. Give Shanahan at least another year and see if he can, make Trey Lance one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL.
I feel like if the Niners don't finish strong this year, somehow find a way to right the ship, even if they don't make the playoffs, Kyle Shanahan's lame duck next year. He's lame duck. There's just no way to avoid it. if they finish strong and they finish with some sort of effort and heart, and I don't know, maybe Trey plays a little bit and he shows something, and there's like this feeling of like we can do this next year. We just got to rebuild some pieces, maybe get a corner, maybe get another offensive lineman. I don't know. They got work to do, but if they finish like bad and this season ends like with a thud, then he goes into next year as lame duck, and he deserves it if that's the case. The excuses are the time for excuses for this team is dunzo. It's over with. There are no more excuses. I seen Grant Cohn. He posted something. He said, when players say we got to go back to the drawing board and figure out things, he's like, no drawing board. It's year 5. Win or get somebody in here who can. Like, you get to a certain point. I don't want to hear that in press conferences. Like, how do you you had 2 weeks to prepare. You come out in your first drive and you look like gangbusters, and then all of a sudden you revert right back to the same thing. It's like if Jimmy's not scripted with plays, it's like he doesn't know how to lead the offense. Like I said, if this is what you're getting from him at this point, then why not go with the rookie? He had 3 turnovers yesterday, man. He was trying to give this game away. Yeah. And like you said, Carson Wentz wasn't playing much better early on either. But Carson found a way.
Yep.
So the excuse with the weather goes out the window. Unless Jimmy's got really small hands or something and he just can't hold on to the ball. I don't know. But, I mean, it's just like there's been so many excuses over the last couple of years with this team, from media to the team itself to us fans. I think a lot of us fans got lured into a feeling that we righted the ship, we got some pieces, and we were going to make a run for it this year. We were gravely mistaken with this team. And now we're seeing it. The whole, we got Jimmy here and we got Trey backing him up, and it's the perfect situation. What do they always say, Jay? A leopard, was it a leopard can't change his spots?
Right.
Like, Jimmy is who Jimmy is. He's an average quarterback, man. It's, I don't know if I posted, if you didn't see it, go look at it after we get off stream. And you guys in the comments do too. I posted a, Brian Baldinger had a all 22 view of a play.
I saw
that Jimmy, there's 2 of them. There's the one to Ayuk who was wide open, wide open. And then on the drive where Jimmy threw the game-ending pick, there is Mohamed Sanu down the middle of the field all by himself. Jimmy premeditated the read, went to Debo, tried to force it. And it's just like, man, you're 8 years in and you're still premeditating reads. You can't read a defense at this point. Again, put the kid in. I don't understand. They call what Jimmy stands or Shanna stands, like people who just refuse to just accept things. Listen, I was actually confident with Jimmy coming into this year with this situation the way it was. And they came out against the Lions and they didn't look too bad, you know? But since then, it's been all downhill, and it's been more of the same that it's been most of the time he's been here, except for 2019. So I'm
agree.
frustrated.
I agree. I was confident with Jimmy coming into the year. But on that specific play with Ayuk, Ross Dwelly, he was blocking a defensive end. And I think Ross Dwelly was called for a holding penalty on that play. But one thing that Jimmy doesn't do, he doesn't really, the term is like throw guys open. Like you throw the ball before they're wide open. And if he would have done that, he would have been able to hit Ayuk, maybe not in stride, but he would have been able to throw it to Ayuk because he knows what pattern he's going to run. He sees the coverage. But yeah, that was a great call by Baldinger. And it illustrates the issues of the offense. Well, one, Jimmy didn't have time to throw. That's one thing. He had to maneuver to get out of the defensive end's way. He didn't make he would not have been able to make a good throw leading his receiver. And also he didn't throw Ayuk open. That's an issue. And the best quarterbacks do that. They throw the ball before the receiver is open. because you can't wait till the receiver's open. By then, the cornerback's going to be there. And he's going to pick the ball off. But one thing I wanted to mention, JaMychal Hasty he returned this game. He was out the last few games. And isn't it interesting? JaMychal Hasty got more carries than Trey Sermon. I don't even think Trey Sermon got into the game. I don't remember him carrying the ball. And that's interesting. We traded up to get Sermon, and we don't even use him. It's like Shanahan doesn't trust him, or Shanahan doesn't feel like he's a fit for the system. So I don't want to say it's a wasted draft pick. I just want to say your first 1, 2, 3 draft picks, they should be starters. And right now we're not getting any contributions from our first 3 picks.
Right. That's actually one of the topics that I wanted to ask you. Why are we redshirting like our top 3 picks? Like why? I don't even know how to articulate how I'm feeling about that. Like why are you how do you literally, I have no way to explaining myself right now.
With Ambry Thomas, he didn't play last year.
That I understand.
Yeah, so it's going to take him more time to ramp up to the NFL level, and clearly they don't trust Ambry Thomas. Aaron Banks, I heard he suited up yesterday, but I don't think he got into the game. But he should be splitting snaps with Brunskill. I don't see why not.
Yeah.
It's not like Brunskill's playing at an all-pro level at this point.
Nope.
I think you should put Banks in. And Sermon, I think he had 1 carry. I forget what game he got concussed. That might have been the Packers game, maybe. And then the next game he played well. But I don't understand. You have these sloppy conditions. Why not use Trey Sermon? He is the back you traded up to get. It just seems like, and I'm not saying Sermon's a bust. It just seems like the pick wasn't a good fit for the Niners because we're not utilizing him. So, go
ahead.
I was going to say the other player, of course, is Trey Lance, and hopefully he'll get some more snaps, through the rest of the year.
The thing with the broadcast kept bringing up was in the conditions yesterday, like Trey Lance's mobility would have been a huge asset just because defenders were having a hard time tracking guys down. I will say, though, Bosa has all of my respect. He tracked down Wentz on that play, grabbed him by his feet, and helped cause that turnover.
Yeah.
And I'm a really big fan of Azeez Al-Shaair, man. I've actually grown to like him more than Dre Greenlaw, to be honest with you. Yeah. And I like Dre Greenlaw a lot. If the Niners can figure out a way to keep those 3 guys, linebackers not an issue on this team.
Yeah.
It's the back end, it's offensive line, and it's quarterback, and maybe get another receiver somehow in there. Man, I'll tell you what, that impressive catch by Michael Pittman. Is it Michael Pittman?
Yes.
He high-pointed that ball. That is what we're missing on this offense. We need a guy like that.
Yeah. We
need a high pointer that can go up and get those alley-oop type throws from a quarterback. Like, we don't have anybody like that, Debo's great, but Debo's a smaller guy.
Yeah.
we have Sanu is. Oh, go ahead.
We have Jawan Jennings. I believe he's like 6'4", 6'5", but Shanahan doesn't use him. So
yeah. Well, he has a little bit. I think he might have. They say he has issues with separation. I'm not exactly sure what his issues are. Because if you ever watch him when he's playing, there's always guys around him when he catches the ball. It's not like he's burning past anybody, but still, you're right. Shanahan has this hot and cold thing with players where he just like, and that's why people say there could be front office strife, is just the fact that, like, there's this thing where like who's his Lynch guy, who's Shanahan's guy, and maybe he's not playing certain guys because they're not his guys. It's everything is on the table this year, Jay, because this has been an absolute disappointment. The Niners have enough talent on this team to win games. Yeah. They are not bereft of talent. They're not the 2017 Niners who are absolute trash. This is a leadership thing. This is an organizational philosophy thing that's going on right now. I think the Niners need to stop playing offense from the 1980s and step into the modern game because I feel like their offense is stagnant, and I feel like the league has figured out Kyle Shanahan to a certain extent. I don't know, man. I don't have a lot of good feelings about this franchise right now. Not necessarily the symbol, the 49ers as a whole, because I still love my team and I always will, but I have no allegiance to losers, and I don't think players go out there and intentionally lose games, or people aren't trying. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be better than anybody. Because I'm a bum. I don't play sports, but we call it like we see it. We have
Absolutely.
eyes. And what did Bill Parcells always say? You are what your record is.
It is. Absolutely.
We are 2-4, bro. We suck. We're not good.
Right.
And before you know it, the Cardinals are going to win the division by like week 10 or 12, the way it's looking right now. But thank you, Luke, Luna. Casey and Andy should trade Mahomes. Yeah, okay. Only in Madden will that ever happen. They're just having a down year, to be honest with you.
I've got a question for you. Which
Sure.
one of these three scenarios is most likely to happen this offseason? 1, Kyle Shanahan gets stripped of play calling duties. 2, John Lynch either gets fired or demoted. He'll no longer be the general manager. Or 3, the Niners actually bring in, or maybe they upgrade their quarterback coach.
I see all three things possibly happening, to be honest with you. They need a quarterback coach, because Rich Scangarella is just, I thought he was good. He's not. They haven't developed any quarterback since they've been there.
That's true.
I would like to see them get another defensive back coach, because whoever this guy is that their defensive back coach is, he's not good.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Turn around, man. Like, turn around. Really? You hug guys instead of turning to find the ball? Whoever that's got to be a teaching point or something. Like, hey, if you're beat, just grab them. Like, that's because they're all doing it. It's not even in it. Like, everybody's doing it. So, I think I wouldn't be mad if they took power away from Lynch. They deserve to be sitting ducks, man, with their jobs, or have power taken away from them. They haven't done good enough. 1 winning season in 4.5 years, not good enough.
Yeah.
This franchise used to be the gold standard of the NFL for a long time. They were all about, you either make it to the Super Bowl or your season's a failure. Now it's like everybody's happy. We got George Kittle on Instagram talking about anything but football, posting stuff about stupidity. Everybody's smiling. Everybody's happy. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all are a bunch of losers. And it's like, you're okay with it? Like, the old school Niners would, like, dude, the way Michael Jordan was and how miserable he was and how he expected so much out of his teammates. And Jerry Rice was a lot the same way. I just don't see that anymore, man. It's like everybody's just happy to be here.
Yeah.
There is players that care, like Fred Warner cares. Nick Bosa cares. Debo cares. There's other players that care. My question is, and I wanted to ask you this, like, what's your thoughts on Kittle at this point, man? Like, he's injured all the time. And this is the second tight end national idiotic tight end day where he hasn't been available. Like, I don't want to hear about that, man. You're 2-3. Now you're 2-4. And you're talking about some ridiculous fake thing that doesn't exist. And dude, it just drives me crazy. Like, I know he's a great player and everything, but my feelings for George Kittle have kind of waned a little bit. I wanted to get your opinion on it.
First, I got to say, everyone in the chat now, make sure you hit the thumbs up button for 49ers First Takes. Make sure you like the stream. Luke Luna, he had a great point about Hasty and that play that Jimmy threw. That obviously that wasn't Jimmy's fault. Hasty tripped over his feet, his own feet, but that was a good point by Luke Luna. But I love George Kittle. Before he got hurt, I still felt like he's the best tight end in the NFL. We don't utilize him enough. he needs to be getting targets like Waller and Vegas and Kelsey and KC. Hell,
Yes.
Instead of using Kittle to block, why not put another offensive lineman on the end?
Yes.
And let Kittle do what he does best. We know he's a great blocker, but let him be another threat for Jimmy or Trey or whoever. But I love Kittle. Obviously, he's a workout warrior in the off season. He posts all his stuff he does on social media, and we don't know the sweet science between, okay, one player works out a lot, he can't stay healthy. Another player maybe comes into camp out of shape, and he may never get hurt, or he gets hurt as well. We don't know the perfect balance, and I just think if we're going to keep Kittle on this team, we got to have a solid backup, or not even solid. We have to have someone who's almost at a similar level to Kittle, because we know Kittle's going to get nicked up and he's going to get hurt. I would have loved if we would have went out and got Zach Ertz. I believe he's in the final year of his contract, so that would have been a nice trade. But then again, we don't have draft capital, so we would have had to trade draft picks to get a one year rental. And at this point, our Super Bowl chances are slowly declining by each losing game. So, but I love Kittle. As you mentioned, he has his tight end university. And yeah, I would say, hey, why not just stick to the 49ers? Don't worry about all that stuff. But we can't, or at least me, I can only speak for myself. I don't question Kittle's commitment. I don't think you are as well, but I don't question his commitment to the game when he's on the field. Obviously, he comes prepared, but unfortunately, he can't stay healthy.
No, I get a lot of, like I told you before, a lot of Gronkowski vibes from him.
Yeah.
I just feel like the way he plays is not going to lend him to having a long career. His shelf life could be coming to an end within the next, 3 to 4 seasons, just because of how he plays. And he's not like a go up and grab it type tight end. He's more of a guy that gets open in space and then breaks lots of tackles. I just feel like you said, I think everything's on the table, from demotion to, maybe getting better assistance. A lot of people are saying Brian Darble or Eric Bieniemy if Kyle was to get canned. Eric Bieniemy is interesting because you wonder if it's who he has and it's not really him, but then part of me thinks that it is him. Yeah. And I feel like he could be a great coach. He hasn't been given the opportunity yet. So, man, I watch the games now, and like I told you, I just don't enjoy myself because it's like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that's really pathetic to feel that way. But I think we both come to the conclusion, at least me and you, some Niner fans refuse to accept reality. They want to live in this make-believe world where they think, you can't criticize anything. You can't criticize the front office. You can't criticize Jimmy Garoppolo. You can't criticize other players on the team. Why? Why is everyone untouchable? Like I said, this used to be the gold standard of winning and winning championships, and anything else was a failure. And that's how it should still be. That's how I feel. Oh, we didn't win the Super Bowl? Well, the year was a failure, because isn't this a results business where it's about winning? I'm not saying people are failures. I'm not saying that the people in the front office are people or players are failures, but as the goal that you're trying to achieve, you are a failure, because it's sports and it's about the championship, and anything less is just not good enough. And man, I miss the days of some player standing on a chair and just ripping everybody in the team and just like holding everybody accountable. They say DeForest Buckner was definitely that guy. I put another clip up, but Joe Staley talking. I do that. I've been doing that a lot lately. Like if I see something that I can't say myself that other people in the media are saying, or like someone who has, some sort of, place in the game, like Dante Whitner or even Brian Baldinger, he breaks down film. I'm always going to post that stuff because it's like, you need to hear that stuff. And I'm glad people like Dante speak out. Even Joe Staley thinks that Garoppolo's not playing good enough. So it's just, nobody should be safe after a season so far like this. This is, like I said, it's a results-oriented business, and if you're not getting it done, eventually you should be replaced. What is your take on Ayuk? This whole situation with Ayuk. Do you think he can be salvaged?
It's funny you mentioned Ayuk because I saw a stat about Dante Pettis, and I
Oh
think he
God, here we
has.
go.
I want to say Dante Pettis has the same amount of catches as Ayuk does this year, and Dante Pettis balled out yesterday. I think he had 5 catches, 40 yards, and a touchdown. So I understand Ayuk. He had the hamstring, that slowed him down, and there's some concern that he didn't have that drive. He thought maybe, hey, I can rest on my laurels. I was the best wide receiver on the team last year. I don't have to maybe not work as hard. It seems to be rumblings with that. And when you get into Shanahan's doghouse, it's hard to get out of. But you gotta get the ball to your playmakers, and Ayuk is definitely a playmaker. But it comes down to Jimmy G as well. He feels more comfortable for whatever reason throwing the Debo. I think Ayuk is still talented. I don't think this 1 year was a fluke. But that's 49er minded. The Ayuk show. I'm actually wearing his jersey tonight. But I think it can be salvaged. It's going to have to be because we don't do a great job of drafting first round wide receivers. You look at before Debo and Ayuk, there were a lot of misses in the draft. So those are two young studs at wide receiver. Whatever it is, we got to make it work. And I think Ayuk is part of the solution. He's not part of the problem, I would say.
Definitely. I am a big Ayuk guy. I'm not giving up on him either. He's too talented and too athletic. I think it's more of a quarterback issue, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And even Trey. I mean, Trey's a little bit of a lockdown, lock-in type of guy where he's just inexperienced. But like I said, you build reps, you get time playing with people. I feel like I've told you this before, and I know you've heard it from me. If Kyle can manufacture stuff like he did for Jimmy in 2019, and Jimmy, through parts of 2019 looked a pretty good quarterback, and I was happy with him, and I was okay with him up until the Super Bowl. But you can't manufacture things for a rookie. You can't have a script or certain plays that he does well and try to get those plays in a game. Kyle's a stubborn guy, man, and he wants things done his way or no way. And you get players in the doghouse, or he just thinks that Jimmy's the better answer. And, 6 weeks ago, Jimmy was the better answer. Mm-hmm. But at this point, he's not. He's not. I'm sorry. We're 2-4, dude. Like, we're not 4-2. If Jimmy was playing so, I would still stay with them at 4-2. We're literally, I don't know how many games before we're out of contention, but it's getting close.
It's getting
2-4. And it sucks that you got to say, "Oh, the season's over. Let's put the rookie in, let him take his lumps." But you gave up the farm for him, so you have to see what your investment is. Like to not do that and just be stubborn. I think Kyle Shanahan's stuck in 2019 himself, him and Lynch. I think they both needed a reality check. Maybe this year will be that reality check for them. Stop being cheap with your deals. Sometimes pay a little bit more and go get a guy who might be more expensive but doesn't have the injury history, instead of going for the cheap route with the guy that has questionable injury history. And you want to go and be, you want to save a penny here and a penny there, because that's Parag Marathe's specialty. I don't know if you saw, but what's his name? Grant Cohn, and I forget who else he was talking to. It might have been Jesse Naylor from Last Second Sports. They're pretty much I think one of the bigger problems in this team may be someone like Parag Marathe, because of just how he runs the fact that they lost to Forrest Buckner. And now you're hearing what was behind it. And Joe Staley was surprised it was happening and he wanted to stay here. And the Niners didn't even meet him halfway. I mean, there's stuff to that. So mean, there's fires everywhere with this team right now, man. You can start them anywhere. You can start them at quarterback, coaching, uh, front office, assistant coaching, everything. So,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but DeForest Buckner, obviously hell of a player when he was with the 49ers.
yeah,
His early years, though,
pretty lean.
it wasn't like, he was an all pro.
No,
And those were some pretty bad years, with Chip Kelly and Tom Sula and all that. But Armstead and Buckner, their first like 3 seasons, they were okay. It wasn't like they were all Pro Bowl players. And
right.
I know DeForest Buckner said he wanted to stay, and I don't blame players for going for more money. They have a short shelf life to make the most amount of money they can, and I don't blame Buckner for leaving for more money. But when he says I would have took less, I don't really know what that means. How much less are we talking about? Because I believe Armstead is getting paid about 16 and Buckner's at 21, 22. I mean, that's a huge difference. $5 to $6 million. That's a huge difference. And for people that have been watching me, I've been holding, Eric Armstead, accountable because he is one of the highest paid defensive players on the team. I think he is the highest paid besides Fred Warner. But he, Armstead didn't get enough sacks for me, but this year he is playing one of his better seasons. Also, 2019 was one of his better seasons as well. But this year he's playing pretty well. If people believe in PFF, Pro Football Focus, I believe that on the broadcast yesterday, Armstead was like 5th out of the best defensive ends in the NFL according to PFF. He was even one notch below Nick Bosa. So Armstead is playing pretty well. But Buckner, he was the heart and soul of this team. There's no doubt about that. It sucks we couldn't bring him back, but it's a business. You can't afford to bring back every single great player. You just can't do that. But yeah, it sucks that he came back to Levi's and he was wearing an away uniform. And it was, how fitting was it that he got the sack at the end of the game? It sucks it couldn't work out, but you're not going to be able to resign every player.
No. Hey, I have an interesting thing I'm going to put up on the screen here that I think you might find very interesting. For all the talk about this genius and Kyle Shanahan and this and that, I want you to see this.
Okay.
Winning percentage as a head coach: Mike Singletary 450, Chip Kelly 444, Kyle Shanahan 443. That's
a misleading stat, Grant Cohn, and you know it. That's a misleading stat. Mike Singletary, what do he have? Like 1.5 seasons. Chip Kelly, what do he have? 2 seasons. So that's misleading. But there's no doubt Shanahan, he's only had 1 winning season out of the first 5. And I wonder if Jed York, if he could go back in time, would he still offer that extension early? I know it was basically right after the Super Bowl, right? I mean, but I think that's part of the reason why Shanahan's going to stay. He's got that contract extension now.
That's an albatross of a that's an albatross right there. It's huge. That's you can't just let him walk. No. He's already let 2 coaches walk that he owed Tom Sula, who's a joke. And then and so like he's like, you know what, I'm going to get my worth out of it. Like you said, take power away, maybe.
Yeah.
Take roster decisions away from him. Hey, they did it to Bill Walsh and he won 3 Super Bowls, okay?
Yeah.
Bill Walsh, one of the greatest coaches of all time. I think he's the greatest 49er coach of all time. Yeah. 3 championships, but he almost got fired. And after I think it was the 87 season where we played really well. It was a strike-shortened season. We had the number 1 seed and we went into the playoffs and we lost to Minnesota. We got boat raced. And Montana didn't play well. And after that game, DeBartolo was going to fire Walsh on the spot. Wow. And they convinced him not to. So the following year, he was kind of a lame duck. They took away certain things from him. And then that's the year that they won the Super Bowl against Cincinnati, with 34 seconds left. So if someone like Bill Walsh can get power taken away from him, Kyle Shanahan couldn't sniff the resume of Bill Walsh. So, yeah you're right. Take power away. start taking things away. And if it helps, then yeah, you stay with them. But if you take things away and they still continue to struggle, if you take power away from maybe certain people in the front office, say like John Lynch,
Yeah.
and they still continue to struggle, then yeah, you're lame duck. And if you struggle again, you're gone. Like, you know, critique things. Don't get overly emotional and make a rush to make a decision. But yeah, you're right. Like, take things away, start critiquing things. Think about redoing some of your assistant coaches, because I'm sorry, uh, your defensive back coach needs to be fired like yesterday. Um, I mean, that's just to see that many defensive pass interference. I've never seen anything like this before. Have you?
No. I mean, like that Mosley play, he just bear hugged him. Like, what are you doing? Like, you can't freak out. You have to find the receiver, look for the ball.
Unbelievable. And all day. I'm trying to think here. What we got?
I was going to mention with Lynch, he got a contract extension as well. So it's not like they can just fire him. Well, if they do, they're going to have to pay him. So something's going to have to change, whether it's defensive back coach gets let go, whether its responsibilities, are less. But as you've mentioned before, the way they construct a team has to change. It can't just be we have to have great pass rushers. We really have to get secondary help. We have to get corners. We have to get young corners. And we had a young corner. Dante Samuel was right there.
Could have had him.
Made it down to get Aaron Banks, and Aaron Banks isn't even playing. And last I heard, Dante Samuel Jr. is looking pretty good with the LA Chargers. So that was that's tough to stomach.
Yeah, it was definitely tough to stomach. I just want to say thank you to Blue True for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for donating to the stream. It helps. Every little bit helps. Just want to remind everybody to definitely check out Jay Inthebay's YouTube stream. He is one of the many 49er YouTubers out there. I consider him a friend that I've met through YouTube and through the 49ers community. And I think he's one of the best YouTubers out there. Definitely more positive than me. He ain't showing it tonight, though. I've never seen Jay in this form. It's funny. You can sound positive even when you're being negative, and I'm just straight up negative. I told you
it's 4 straight losses. I mean, it's ridiculous. I didn't think we would be at this point after 6 games. No way.
Oh, I have to put this up on screen.
In them comments.
Yeah, Jay is the master of the comment section. Sometimes when I have guests on, I tend to zone out just because I feel like I get into a discussion, man. Like when I'm in a heated discussion with somebody, it's not that I don't care about the comments, because I think comments are an integral part of the stream. But sometimes, man, when you like this type of stream, like everybody, even in the comments, pretty much feels the same way about this team right now. So it's kind of like we're all in the same pathetic boat of suckness that the 49ers are putting us in right now.
And
I guess
I was going to mention, one of the worst parts about it is I don't think the Colts are better than us.
No,
I don't think they are. We only lost by 7 to Arizona. The games that we've lost, we've been in. But what's most disappointing, I can understand when DeAndre Hopkins goes off, he catches a bunch of passes. I can accept that. But the most disappointing thing is the turnovers and the penalties. This is one of the worst disciplined teams I've seen under Kyle Shanahan. Hell, with the 49ers, period. So I don't understand. I can't understand that. I just don't get it. That's something that's hard to accept when you're beating yourself constantly. And like I said, it's deja vu. It's the 4th straight game that this has happened. So that's hard to stomach.
Pioneer made a good point. I mean, he's made a point that I've beaten the drum many times about. The Niners don't value the cornerback position. They just don't. They value defensive line. And that's great and everything, but you're not always going to get to the quarterback.
Right.
Bosa can't get there every play. D4 can't get there every play. And when you don't have quality pieces on the back end, you get exposed. And yeah, I think it's a combination of maybe bad coaching, but he's right. You don't value the defensive back field. You think you could just put any old scrub back there and he'll do the job. No.
This isn't, as you said before, this isn't 2019. Totally different story.
Yeah, there's just I think some people are living in a freaking like hole in the ground. They think this, this is you're gonna run it back, dude. It's over with, man. That was a special team.
Yeah.
We were 7 minutes away from a championship. And listen, the Chiefs were the better team in that game. The last 7 minutes. We needed Jimmy to step up at the end, and he didn't step up. The defense didn't play well in the last 7 minutes either. But you knew the Chiefs were going to score at some point. They're the freaking Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, he's. I mean, to me, it was one of those games where you watched it and it was like, oh boy, this is too close, too late. And sure enough, it was exactly what happened. But
yeah. And I see a bunch of people in the comments saying former players should be coaches. That sounds great, in theory. But coaching is a lot of hard work.
Yeah,
long hours, long nights, and especially with Dante Hittner and Joe Staley, they're talking on TV. That's much easier for them. They're able to spend more time with their family and still make good money. So it sounds good to have a great former player be a coach, but just because you were great playing, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be great coaching. There's a difference. So appreciate all you guys' comments, but I think the coaches we have in the building can get the job done. Obviously, there's going to be some changes. There has to be. If we don't at least get to 500 by the end of the year, there has to be major changes. I don't think they'll let go of Shanahan or Lynch due to their contracts.
No.
Yep. But there's got to be some changes. We mentioned secondary. Maybe they'll strip some play calling duties from Shanahan. Maybe give it to what's his name, Mike McDaniel, I believe. And then maybe give some more responsibility to Adam Peters. I don't know, but they're gonna have to do something. But the sky is not falling for the franchise because a lot of bad contracts are going to be off the books. D Ford will be gone. I don't see how we can bring back McGlinchey. Verrett's probably going to be gone. Jaquiski Tart will be gone. There's going to be a lot of K'Wan Williams. I don't think we'll bring him back. So there's going to be a lot of new talent, and we're just going to have to draft well. And that's something that, at least the first 2 rounds have been questionable decisions, but we have made good draft picks in the later rounds.
Right.
And as you mentioned, we're going to have to spend money. You're going to have to value,
and you're not going to have the picks early on, right?
Right.
But you're going to have you're going to have money, right? So go for proven talent. If you got to pay a little bit for it, and they're healthier people, and not go the cheap, discount store route where you owe it. Oh, we'll go to this guy. We'll pay him less. We'll give him a huge signing bonus. But we're going to put a bunch of injury clauses in his contract because he's always hurt. And yet you think when he's on your team, he's not going to get hurt. And sure enough, the Verrett thing, man, something in my mind told me he was going to get hurt this year. I just could feel it. And he didn't even make it through the first freaking game, dude. Mostert, and he's injury prone. So, I'm not surprised he got hurt. I didn't think he was going to be out for the year. And then Kittle, like you said, he plays a super physical game, but at the same time, dude, you got paid a lot of money. And now the Niners are paying for you and you're not on the field. Your best ability is availability. You got to figure out a way to stay healthy. Part of it is not getting hospital balls from your quarterback. That helps.
Yeah, that helps.
Not that Trey Lance doesn't throw them high either, because he has a little bit of a Brett Favre rocket, a rocket throw type delivery. But like you said, the sky's not falling this next year. But it's it sucks that we have to keep doing this. Wait till next year and wait till next year. And we waited all year for this season, and we had a lot of expectations. We were really happy. All of his fans, including myself and Jay, thought that this was going to be maybe a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
And we were wrong. As of now, they're not. I don't foresee them going to the Super Bowl this year. And if you do, you're smoking crack. So I'm sorry. If you actually believe this team is Super Bowl caliber, look at the Bucs, man.
Yeah, we got to win the game first.
Look at the Rams. Look at Arizona.
Yeah,
we can't beat any of those teams right now the way we're playing. I hate to say it, and if you think I'm a Niner hater because I'm saying that, then whatever. I mean, I've been a fan 30 years. I've seen greatness. I know what greatness looks like. Jay knows what greatness looks like. And this team, other than, 3 or 4 years with Harbaugh and 1 year in 2019, the last 20 some odd years haven't been that great to this franchise. So something's got to change, and something's got to change fast. There's talent on this team. We're not, like I said, we're not bereft of talent. There's talent all around, but we got to solidify areas that have been weaknesses. Offensive line, defensive back, another speed rusher maybe. Like I said, we got to spend some money. You got to stop being wide receiver.
I still think we need a wide receiver.
So do I.
Yeah, unless are we still relying on Jalen Hurd to make a triumphant return?
That's a whole other. That's just pathetic. I'm sorry. I'm not hating on the kid, but dude, it's over. It's over. It's done.
Shanahan still believes in him. So
he'll be back next year. He's going to make his triumphant return 4 years in, whatever. And then he'll get hurt again, and then we won't hear from him anymore.
Yeah, I was surprised.
49er minus
that we kept him. I like that comment about 49er minus. Yeah,
right. Every time. Oh man, what happened to Sherfield? I thought he was supposed to be right.
He was having the best camp of his life. He clearly was the best 49ers wide receiver. That's what everyone was saying besides him and Debo. And he did have a catch in yesterday's game, but everyone was saying that he was the next big thing, and we just haven't seen it.
Jimmy doesn't spread the ball around.
No, he doesn't.
Jimmy is a one-read guy. He predetermines his reads. And a lot of his reads are Debo. And granted, Debo gets open a lot and catches a lot of passes. Debo also fumbled yesterday.
Yep.
Again. That's his second fumble this year. So he's not out of the woods either. I mean, he's great, and I'm glad he's staying healthy. But this team, like, for the amount of turnovers that they give up, they don't get as much in return. That was a beautiful play by Bosa and Azeez Al-Shaair. But, man, we could have had a couple more yesterday. They were trying to give like you said, trying to give it away early, but they found a way to win, and we found a way to lose.
Yeah,
again.
They were the other team yesterday, that's for sure.
Well, Jay, we went about an hour, like you said. There's not really much more I think I can say other than I'm very disappointed, but I still love my team, and I'm still going to rep the red and gold till I die. Anything you want to share with the viewers about your channel that they don't know for people that are new to the chat?
Absolutely. Shout out to everyone in the comments. Thanks for being a part of the conversation tonight. If you guys don't know, of course, I go by Jay in the Bay. I have my own YouTube channel. I talk about the 49ers, talk about the latest news. I do pre and post game live streams, so you can check that out as well. And follow me, IG, Twitter, under the same name, Jay in the Bay. Even have TikTok. I like to be energetic. I like to put a smile on your face. Usually I'm more positive Pete, but man, 4 straight losses, the optimism is slowly waning. But I am looking forward to the Bears game this Sunday. I think it's going to be a scrappy, ugly game, low-scoring game. But I appreciate everyone being here. Thank you, 49ers First Takes, for allowing me to be on your stream. I had a blast tonight. And we'll see what other news comes out about the 49ers this week.
Definitely. And so me and Jay, we try to do this a little bit of like we go back and forth, alternate. So I think next Monday, if our schedules align, I will be on your stream. Sunday nights don't work for me because I have to work at like 4 a.m. on Monday in the morning. Like I went to bed. I got 3 hours of sleep last night, and I was very angry. But I posted it on Instagram that I was doing that and that they better win, and they didn't win. So I was really mad.
I was thinking about you.
So I've been up since 3 a.m. this morning. It's about 11:30. I'm still not really tired yet though. So yeah, we're gonna try to do this next week on Jay's channel. Hopefully, we do it with some better circumstances.
Yeah.
Or it's just gonna be more of the same that you saw tonight. Like I said, I've never seen Jay this negative, but you're still positive even when you're negative, which is weird. I don't know how you do that, but yeah, thanks for coming on, my man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.
Like I said, I consider you a friend in the YouTube you can't, it's hard to say that over the internet, man, because you just don't really know people, but I've grown pretty close to you as a person. And everybody, thanks for popping in. Thanks for the super chats. Like I said, I wasn't as active with the comments tonight. I wanted to get into a deep discussion with Jay because I know me and him are both, big time fans that are really disappointed right now. So thank you guys again for coming through. As I always say, until I see you guys next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see everybody on the flip side. See ya.
See you later. Go Niners.
Go Niners.